Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be tackling a subject that a lot of people kind of tiptoe around.
Yeah.
Wedding nights.
Oh, yeah.
The start of a couple's intimate life.
Right.
You sent us some really intriguing material on this, and I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, it's fascinating how much expectation and, frankly, misinformation surrounds this very natural part of relationships.
So right off the bat, what kind of anxieties or expectations do couples typically bring to the wedding night? What does the research say?
Well, you know that feeling of butterflies in your stomach? Now amplify that by about 1,000.
Oh, wow.
And you're in the ballpark.
Okay.
The research describes it as a mix of excitement, nervousness, even a sense of pressure to perform.
Almost like it's a test.
Yeah.
Not a celebration.
Exactly. Some even describe it as a fear of failing an exam they didn't study for.
Oh, gosh.
And that pressure often stems from this idealized image of the perfect wedding night, which, let's face it, is rarely the reality.
So we're talking about that whole fairy tale versus real life situation.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Oh.
The research suggests that this gap between fantasy and reality can actually set couples up for disappointment and even impact their intimacy long term.
So if things aren't fireworks right away, it doesn't mean the relationship is doomed.
Not at all. In fact, one of the most important takeaways from the research is that a less than perfect first night is completely normal.
Oh, okay.
More common even.
That's reassuring, I'm sure, for a lot of people listening.
Absolutely. And it highlights a crucial point.
What's that?
Intimacy isn't about reaching a single destination. It's about the ongoing journey, the exploration, and the growth that happens between two people over time.
I love that intimacy is a journey.
Yeah.
It makes it feel less like a one-time event and more like a lifelong process.
And that's a much healthier way to approach it, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And I think this is where a lot of couples stumble. How do you actually navigate that journey?
Well, the research points to one major factor.
Okay.
Communication. And I'm not just talking about pillow talk. I'm talking about honest, open communication about desires, fears, boundaries, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it seems so obvious. But why is that so hard for so many couples?
It boils down to a few things.
Okay.
First, societal taboos often make it difficult to talk openly about sex and intimacy.
Right.
We're conditioned to think it's private, even shameful to discuss.
Right, so we end up with this awkward silence around the topic.
Exactly. And then there's the fear of judgment or rejection.
Yeah.
Being vulnerable with a partner about our intimate needs and desires can feel incredibly risky.
It's like, what if they don't understand? What if they judge me?
And those fears, unfortunately, often prevent couples from having the conversations that could actually lead to deeper intimacy and connection.
Okay, so communication is key. But even when we do communicate, there's this whole other layer of complexity, right?
Yeah.
Because men and women often experience arousal and desire differently.
You're spot on. The research uses this great analogy.
Okay.
Men are like petrol engines revving up quickly, while women are more like diesel engines taking a bit longer to warm up.
So different pacing, different needs. How do you even begin to sync those up?
That's where understanding and respect come into play.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to intimacy, and that each partner's experience is valid and deserves to be acknowledged.
So no comparing, no judging, just curiosity and a willingness to learn about each other's unique needs.
Exactly, and that's where things start to get really interesting.
Okay.
The research suggests that when we let go of those preconceived notions and truly tune in to our partner, that's when we can start to create a truly fulfilling and connected experience.
This is all so fascinating, but we're just scratching the surface here. What else does the research tell us about how these unrealistic expectations can actually sabotage our intimate lives?
Well, for one, it can lead to performance anxiety, especially for men. They feel this pressure to live up to this idealized image of masculinity, which can actually have the opposite effect.
So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more pressure you put on yourself, the less likely you are to actually perform well.
Precisely. And this can lead to a vicious cycle of anxiety avoidance and ultimately a breakdown in communication and connection. But it's not just men who suffer. Women also feel the pressure to conform to these unrealistic expectations, often leading to feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt.
Right. It's like this double standard where men are expected to get a fulfilling experience.
That's where the idea of restarting comes in. The research suggests that it's never too late to reevaluate our approach to intimacy and create a more fulfilling and realistic foundation for our relationships.
Okay, I love this idea of a restart.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin?
Well, step one is acknowledging those unrealistic expectations we've internalized.
Okay.
The ones that tell us it has to be perfect or spontaneous or always passionate. Those expectations are often rooted in fantasy, not reality.
So being honest with ourselves about what we've been led to believe
Yeah.
and recognizing that those beliefs might not be serving us.
Exactly. And then comes the crucial part,
Okay.
letting go of those expectations.
Mhm.
It's about accepting that intimacy is a journey with its own unique rhythm and flow.
Easier said than done, I imagine.
Right.
What are some practical ways to actually let go of those deeply ingrained expectations?
One approach is to actively challenge those thoughts when they arise.
Yep.
For example, if you find yourself comparing your experience to something you've seen in a movie,
Yeah.
remind yourself that those are staged, edited, and often unrealistic portrayals.
So basically calling out those unrealistic comparisons in real time.
Exactly. Another helpful technique is to shift your focus from performance to connection.
Right.
Instead of worrying about hitting all the right notes, focus on being present with your partner, enjoying the sensations, and simply being together in that moment.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about shifting from a goal-oriented mindset to a more experiential one.
Precisely. And
Yeah.
this is where communication becomes essential.
Yeah.
Talking to your partner about your needs, desires, and fears can help create a safe and supportive space for exploration and vulnerability.
So even if it feels awkward or uncomfortable at first, having those open and honest conversations is crucial for building a strong foundation of intimacy.
Absolutely. And it's an ongoing process, not a one-time event.
Right.
As your relationship evolves, your needs and desires will likely change. So it's important to keep those lines of communication open.
This all sounds great in theory, but I'm curious about the specifics. What are some tangible steps couples can take to improve communication around intimacy?
One helpful strategy is to start small.
Okay.
Instead of diving into a deep conversation about all your deepest desires, begin by sharing something simple, like what you enjoyed about a particular touch or moment of intimacy.
So baby steps.
Okay.
Build up to those bigger conversations over time.
Exactly. And remember to listen actively to your partner. Pay attention to their verbal and nonverbal cues, ask clarifying questions, and show empathy for their experiences.
It's about creating that safe space where both partners feel heard, understood, and respected.
And don't be afraid to use humor.
Yeah.
Intimacy doesn't always have to be serious and intense. Laughing together, being silly, and simply enjoying each other's company can go a long way in fostering connection.
That's a great reminder. Sometimes we take it all so seriously we forget to have fun.
And speaking of fun, let's talk about the physical aspect of intimacy.
Okay.
One of the key takeaways from the research is that it's not just about the act itself, but about cultivating a sense of sensuality and connection that extends beyond the bedroom.
So building intimacy outside the bedroom is just as important as what happens inside the bedroom.
Absolutely. Simple acts of physical affection, like holding hands, cuddling, giving each other massages. These things can help create a sense of intimacy and closeness that can then translate into a more fulfilling sexual experience.
It's like those little moments of connection throughout the day lay the groundwork for a deeper and more meaningful physical intimacy.
And when it comes to the bedroom itself,
Okay.
creating a relaxed and inviting atmosphere can make a world of difference.
Right.
Think about what helps you feel sensual and at ease.
So things like dimming the lights, putting on some music, lighting some candles.
Exactly. It's about setting the stage for an experience that feels pleasurable and inviting for both partners.
And I'm guessing ditching those unrealistic expectations we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. It's about embracing the moment, connecting with your partner, and simply enjoying the journey wherever it may lead.
This all sounds incredibly helpful, but I imagine some people might be thinking, okay, this is all great advice, but what if we've been stuck in a rut for a while? How do we actually break free from those old patterns and create a fresh start?
That's a great question, and one that many couples struggle with. The good news is it's never too late to hit the reset button and create a more fulfilling and connected, intimate life.
So how do we do that? What are some concrete steps couples can take to hit that reset button and reignite the spark?
It often starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of viewing intimacy as something that should just happen naturally, think of it as a skill you can cultivate and nurture over time.
So like learning a new language or instrument,
Yeah,
it requires effort and practice.
exactly. And just like any skill, it can be learned and improved upon. One of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal.
So vulnerability as a catalyst for deeper intimacy. What else can couples do to rekindle that spark?
The research suggests that exploring different ways to connect physically can be incredibly beneficial. And I'm not just talking about sex here.
Okay.
I'm talking about all forms of touch. from cuddling and holding hands to giving each other massages.
So expanding your repertoire of physical intimacy beyond just the act of sex itself.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of novelty.
Oh,
Trying new things, whether it's a different position, a new location, or even just a different time of day, can help inject some excitement and spontaneity back into your intimate life.
it's like adding spice to a familiar dish.
Yeah,
Keeps things interesting.
I like that analogy. And remember, exploration is a two-way street. Encourage your partner to share their fantasies and desires and be open to trying things that might be outside your comfort zone.
It's about approaching intimacy with a sense of curiosity and adventure rather than fear or judgment.
And most importantly, have fun. Intimacy should be enjoyable, not a chore. If you're not feeling it, don't force it. Take a break, reconnect on a non-sexual level, and come back to it when you're both feeling more relaxed and receptive.
This has been such an insightful and empowering conversation. What stands out to you as the most important takeaway for our listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is this: a fulfilling and connected, intimate life is within reach for anyone who's willing to put in the effort. It's about shifting our perspective, embracing vulnerability, communicating openly, and approaching intimacy with a sense of curiosity and playfulness.
And remembering that it's a journey, not a destination. There will be bumps along the way, but that's all part of the adventure.
Exactly. And sometimes the most rewarding experiences come from navigating those challenges together and coming out stronger on the other side.
This deep dive has been packed with incredible insights and actionable advice. I have a feeling a lot of couples are going to be hitting that reset button after listening to this.
I hope so, because intimacy is one of the most beautiful and rewarding aspects of human connection, and it's worth investing in.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the intricacies of intimacy. We'll leave you with one final thought to ponder. How can you create a more open and honest dialogue with your partner about your needs and desires?
It's a question worth exploring. And remember, the journey starts with the single step. Thanks for listening.